Hi, this is Bruce from the Mighty Jungle, and you're watching a podcast where nostalgia comes alive. It's Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show. Roll it!
Welcome to Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show, the podcast where nostalgia comes alive. Since July of 2021, Jake and his friends have interviewed professionals in the worlds of acting, directing, writing, puppeteering, and many more. Who will they be chatting with in this week's interview? Find out in this Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show episode. Hello everyone, welcome to this episode of Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show, the podcast where nostalgia comes alive. I am one of your co-hosts, Chris Bixby, and with me today is our host, Jake Deffinbaugh. How are you, Jake?
Doing good, Chris. How about you?
I am also doing good, and our other co-host, Matt Bingel, who cannot be here today. He sends his best wishes, but he cannot be here. So for today's guests, we have a voice actor who is the current voice of characters such as Porky Pig and Tweety. He worked on the Fraggle Rock animated series, Little Muppet Monsters, whole bunch of things. Yeah, we're here to talk about that and some other things he's done too. And here he is, Bob Bergen. Bob, happy to have you here.
What's going on, guys?
Awesome, happy to have you here. So to kick things off, in your own words, could you kind of introduce yourself a little bit and what you do?
You just did. I'm Bob Bergen. I'm a voice actor and been doing this for a little over 40 years. Cartoons, commercials, promos, all kinds of stuff in front of a mic.
Awesome. What was your background like and how did you grow up?
Do you mean just my childhood background?
Yeah.
Oh, I was just a normal kid, normal happy family, grew up in the Midwest. Fell in love with cartoons, wanted to do voices for cartoons since I was small, and got fortunate that my dad moved the family to LA when I was about 14, and I just picked up the phone and called studios and said, how do I do this? And found out I had to train and study to be an actor and study voiceover. And it's a business. It's called show business. So I had to learn, first of all, how to act, and then I had to learn the business of the business.
Nice. So what getting into voiceover, like who were some of your biggest like influences?
Oh, sure. Mel Blanc, Daws, Butler, June Foray, Casey Kasem, Paul Winchell, Don Messick, just the people that did it for me.
Oh, absolutely. Definitely some wonderful people.
Yeah, so before getting to voiceover professionally, do you have any like favorite cartoons to watch growing up?
Yeah, I was a big fan of the black and white Fleischer Popeye cartoons. Definitely
Oh,
Looney
of
Tunes.
course. Yes.
I like Speed Racer, even before I knew it was an anime cartoon. Yeah, I mean, I was a Saturday morning cartoon junkie, Bullet Captain Crunch and Scooby Doo. So Flintstones, Jetsons. So yeah, I was very rarely without a television on watching cartoons.
Awesome. So now here's an interesting question. So now as a teenager, you appeared on a Teen Week episode of Wheel of Fortune. What was that experience like?
Fun. I went down, I auditioned, I got on, and I won a Rolex watch. It was a lot of fun.
Wow. It's awesome. I know Wheel of Fortune's a great show.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
I Wheel of Fortune. I still watch that show. It's my grandma always watched Wheel of Fortune, and of course Jeopardy. And to mention, you're also part of and you're also an MC on Jep, the kids' version of the classic game show Jeopardy. How did that come about?
I was promoting a movie I did called Space Jam on a talk show in New York.
Oh,
and,
yes.
And I got a call from an agent who represented hosts. And she said, you were very good on the show. Have you ever thought of hosting? And I said, no, not really, but thank you for asking. And I talked to my voiceover agent, and she said, look, if they know your face, I can get you more for your voice. So give it a shot. And the first thing they sent me out on to audition for was I think it was called Junior Jeopardy. And I auditioned for it. It eventually became Jep, and I booked it.
Nice. Nice. So now, getting into voice acting, we mentioned in your introduction, Daws Butler And you actually got to learn from him taking acting
Mhm.
lessons. Can you talk about kind of what it was like learning in the hands of such an iconic, voiceover legend?
Yeah, every script was written by Daws. I'd studied voiceover with everybody. If they taught a class, I took it. But he was the first voiceover coach who used the word acting. Nobody else did. I don't know why, but they didn't. And he stressed character and acting and nuance and listening and performance, not voice. I don't even know if he ever mentioned the word voice in his class.
Mm.
And some of the best, uh, most successful cartoon voice actors in the business working today came from that class. Nancy Cartwright, Bill Farmer, Mona Marshall. Just it was the creme de la creme who came through there. And he was great. I mean, I only stopped. It was a Wednesday night class, and I only stopped taking his class because I was asked to start teaching, and it was the same night. So, and then Dawes passed away not too long after that. But he was great. He was just a dynamite, no nonsense, really solid acting teacher.
Definitely. Definitely.
Oh yeah, for sure. So you also got to meet another voiceover legend, Mel Blanc, watching him at a Looney Tunes recording session in the late 70s. What was that like?
Yeah, like you guys say, it's what is it like? It's like meeting your idol. So it was great. It was a lot of fun.
Awesome. So now actually getting into voiceover professionally, do you remember what your very first professional voiceover job was?
Sure, everybody does because it's what gets you your side card. It was a cartoon called Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends for NBC Saturday morning cartoon.
I remember seeing that in a syndication because on Disney XD they aired a lot of the Spider-Man, the
Mhm.
old Spider-Man cartoon, so that was on quite a bit.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Definitely. Definitely.
So one of your earliest animation roles was voicing Dr. Bunsen, Honeydew, and Link Hogthrob in the Saturday morning cartoon series Little Muppet Monsters. What was that like being a part of that?
Fun. It's a lot of fun. I think it was my first full series, and great actors, great producers. It was just fun to be a part of the Henson project.
Of course. And speaking of Henson, I mentioned a bit in your introduction, voicing Wembley in the animated Fraggle Rock series. Can you talk about a bit about kind of continuing, what was such an iconic, Henson show?
Well, I didn't dwell on trying to play the character the way he was originally played. I didn't even sound like him. In fact, I didn't even audition for him. I auditioned for other characters, and I got called back for Wembley. And I said to the director, "I can't do that voice. That's a little out of my range." And the director said, "We want to hear it anyway." And I said, "I don't think I'm right for this." And he said, "The Henson people want to hear it. Don't disappoint them." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I did it. I auditioned and ended up getting it. Great cast, great writers, great producers. One of the most enjoyable experiences. Only lasted 1 year. It was a really high-rated show, so it was disappointing that it only lasted 1 year. But it was a lot of fun.
Definitely. Fraggle Rock's a wonderful show. Me and Jake are big fans of it.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. Sure, I remember
Yes.
a lot. So
Yeah.
not for the cartoon, wise, I think that's an amazing thing for doing that. So
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
so two of your most known characters are inheriting the roles of animation icons, Porky Pig and Tweety. What goes into inheriting voices in these classic characters that have been established for many decades?
Well, you've got to audition a lot. You've got to try to honor the integrity of the original, and always know that you're never going to be as good. I've been doing Porky the most over the last 33 years, and they still make me audition for new stuff because I don't own the character. None of us
Right.
who do none of us who do voices for classic characters have a contract or a lifetime contract.
Mhm.
So it's a pleasure. It's not as scary as it used to be. When I first got the job, they would play me like 20 minutes of references just to get back into character. and the references were all over the chart. It would be stuff from the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. And I'm like, well, the character evolved. What do you guys want? And then I just started making him my own. And I'm very respectful to the script, but then I look at something in the script, I'm like, yeah, I don't think he'd say it that way. Can I try one for me? They never say no. But I'm not afraid to ask, because I know that character backwards and forwards. So it's a blast. Every time they call me for something new, it's living a dream.
Nice. And it's important to keep a character's legacy alive, because we've interviewed a lot of other voiceover people and even some puppeteers who have taken over characters from people like Jim Henson or Frank Oz or Jerry Nelson, like all those guys. So,
Yeah.
and they say, it's important to keep a character's legacy alive so that, so they still work with the audience, I guess, basically.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, characters are never going to. So it is up to people to try to keep the integrity, but also fans have to understand nobody who takes over a classic character, be it a puppet or a cartoon, nobody's going to be as good as the original. That's just,
right.
A fact. But we do our best.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So now, what were some of the first things you got to do voicing Porky and Tweety for the first time?
The first thing I did was Tiny Toon Adventures. That was actually my first Warner Brothers job, and I played both of them in my first episode. And then after that, lots of commercials, lots of toys, lots of the Nike Michael Jordan Air Jordan commercials. We did 2 of them. That eventually became the movie Space Jam. When I first started doing Porky, there wasn't a ton of product, an occasional Happy Meal commercial for McDonald's, things like that. And from Space Jam forward, we started doing more stuff. I did the series Duck Dodgers. Then we did the Looney Tunes show and New Looney Tunes and Looney Tunes cartoons and Bugs Bunny Builders. So there are times when they're not as visible as others. Right now, they're very visible, which is very good. So a lot of things that we do, people don't even know that we're doing. Sometimes they're educational videos for kids, or e-learning, or toys, that sort of thing. But they keep us busy.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. So so you kind of touched base about earlier that you're one of the most well-known things that you've done with Looney Tunes is live action animated Space Jam. Starring Michael Jordan. I'm kind of curious. Did you ever get to meet Michael Jordan?
Nope. No, he was shooting the on camera on one stage at Warner Brothers while we were recording the cartoons on another. And I saw his bald head walking in the distance at the rap party, but his people wouldn't let us meet him. So nope, didn't get to meet him.
Well, speaking of, I guess you could say celebrities, one of your greatest honors as a voice actor is getting to work with former First Lady Barbara Bush for her radio program.
Well, not really. We never worked together. I worked on a project that she was on, but I was never in a room with her. I thought I was going to be when I went to the session. I dressed up nicely. I thought she'd be there, but no, she recorded her stuff in Washington, and I had recorded my stuff in Santa Monica.
Oh, okay.
So on Disney, you voiced Bucky the Squirrel in Emperor's New Groove, and it's several spin-offs. Can you talk a bit about that?
Yeah, it was fun. I got the inspiration from an actual squirrel at Disney. It was a very small part the first day I did it, and they tested some of the stuff I recorded for test audiences, and they liked it, so they wrote more material, and it became a straight to video sequel and 3 years on a series. So you never know when a tiny little part's going to be a little bit bigger. So actors shouldn't worry about a small part, just have fun.
I know. Yeah, I remember watching both Emperor's New Groove and Emperor's New School, and I'm glad Disney Plus has those easily available for people to watch.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. So now, over the years, you mentioned doing voiceover in hundreds of commercials, some of which include, Porky Pig and Tweety. Do you have any like favorite commercials you've done or any that like stick out to
Not
you?
really. And most of the commercials I do are my own voice. So,
Mhm.
and you wouldn't even know it's me because commercials don't have credits. But
Right.
commercials are the day-to-day bread and butter for any voice actor. So yeah, I'm not partial to commercials.
Mhm.
I don't do a commercial and go, that's a product I really love. I won't do a commercial for a product I find for some reason, distasteful. There aren't many, but no, commercials are just, it's fast food, it's clothing, it's sneakers, it's laundry detergent.
Definitely.
Yeah, so aside from doing voiceover yourself, you also teach your own animation voiceover workshop in LA. How did that first come into play for you?
I was doing a play, and somebody came backstage and saw in my bio that I did voiceover, asked me if I wanted to teach, and I didn't. And about a year later, another school asked me to teach, and they didn't charge the students. It was just a voluntary thing. So I was like, well, if I suck at it, then at least I'm not taking anybody's money. And I did that for about a year. And then I started teaching my own class. And, with COVID, I stopped doing group workshops in person, and I'm just doing Zoom coaching. I do a few things in person every once in a while. I'm doing a voiceover cruise next January, where we're
Oh
taking
wow,
40.
nice.
Yeah, taking 40 students, round trip from San Francisco, Mexican Riviera, but it's commercial and animation. I'm doing it with another coach, Marilyn Wisner. So, but yeah, coaching is fun. I love it. I love working with the next generation.
Nice. Nice. So, since the 90s, I saw on your website you've been an active member of the Academy of Television Arts and Sciences. How did that kind of come about?
I qualified. It comes about because you've got enough credits to join. So I joined in the 90s and got involved in leadership there. I was on the board of governors for about 10 years. So, this is called show business, and most actors are not great business people. I got involved because a buddy of mine said you should be in the TV Academy, and I'm like, I've never won an Emmy, but you don't have to win an Emmy. You have to qualify. You have to have enough credits to join. So yeah, that's how it came about.
Nice. Nice.
Awesome. So you're also a two-time volunteer Big Brother and were even honored as a Just 7 Jewish Big Brother of the Year. Can you talk about your experience with Big Brother?
Oh, it was fun. I had two kids over 25 years, and both very different. But I'm a big fan of mentoring. I'm a big fan of giving back. So I don't think either of my little brothers were too enthralled by the fact I did voices for cartoons. If I'd skateboarded, I think they would have been more intrigued. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I highly recommend people mentor.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we've talked a lot about your past voiceover work, but what are you working on now? Can you share anything you're currently working on?
That I'm allowed to talk about because so much is under NDAs these days. We're still working on Bugs Bunny Builders, and that's a preschool show for Looney Tunes. Bad Batch is currently on Disney Plus. Let's see. Did a show called Oddballs for Netflix. It's Pony. Dewdrop Diaries for DreamWorks. I just did a Netflix animated feature that I can't talk about. Yeah, that's the problem. This is like, off the top of my head, I'm censoring myself as to what I can't talk about. Even if you don't sign an NDA, you should treat everything as if you did, because
Yeah.
the studio wants to control
Right.
how they promote. And so I'm very hesitant to talk about a lot of stuff that I'm doing, but it's been busy, you guys. It's been really good.
Awesome.
Yeah, for sure. So what would you like to say to those who have supported the projects you've worked on over the years?
Oh, well, thank you. Thanks for watching. If it weren't for people that like the product, we wouldn't have a job. So yay, appreciate that. And I never knew people liked what we did or even knew who we were until Comic-Cons and the internet. Because we would just go to a studio and it was just us. And there was no way to know, other than ratings or your shows picked up or canceled, no way to know the impact that you have. So yeah, we are nothing without the fans. So thanks, fans.
Absolutely. So if people would like to connect with you, what's the best place for people to reach you?
I'm so easy. to reach, just Google my name. You'll see my Twitter is at Bob Bergen, and Instagram is bergen.bob. I'm on Facebook. We're all you got to do is Google a name. You'll find how to reach everybody. And everybody is reachable, and everybody in my business at least responds. It's a nice group of people, the people that do voices, and artists. We're very grateful and very available.
Awesome. So since we're about to wrap up, the last question that Jake's about to ask is a question that we ask all of our guests at the end.
Okay.
Go ahead, Jake.
So of course, this podcast is called. This podcast is called Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show. When you think of nostalgia, what do you think of, or in your own words, how would you define the word nostalgia?
How would I define nostalgia?
Yeah, in your own words, yeah.
Affection for what was. That's the best I can give. It's just having an affection for something in the past.
Definitely. So, yes, great word to end on. Well, Bob, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. This was fun.
You bet, guys.
Yes,
drive carefully.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you so much.
All right, take care, Bob. You too. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Great work.
Yep. And it's goodbye from us as well. Again, Matt sends his best wishes. Hopefully he'll be there for the next interview. He really wanted to be here, but due to a last-minute family commitment, he was not able to do it. But yes, but thank you so much for tuning into our interview with Bob Bergen. We absolutely enjoyed our time with him because, I grew up with Looney Tunes and Space Jam and all those wonderful things. So getting to talk to Bob was great.
Oh, yeah.
And as always, what do we say, Jake?
Keep nostalgia alive. See you next time on fun episodes coming right. See you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye-bye. Thank you for tuning in to another wonderful Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show interview. Be sure to follow Jake and the crew on social media and stream the show wherever you find your favorite podcasts. And as always, remember to keep nostalgia alive. Bye-bye.